Well, good morning, friends, and thank you for joining. If indeed you are, I appreciate it is a work day, but I had a day's leave I had to use. Our leave year ends today, so I've taken it. And what better way to spend a morning and a lunchtime than flying Charlie and scrubbing off some of the rust? I'd love to say that I did some troubleshooting after the last stream. But apart from updating drivers and double checking and rerunning, I didn't really do anything. So frame rates are good. I've tested the jet, and although hope is never a strategy, I'm at a loss as to exactly what I can do. So hopefully everything will run smoothly. So without further ado, I think my OFP times are wrong. They're in this in a rush, but never mind. We'll just get going as soon as. And
welcome to Hot Start Flight Support.
Wait.
How can we help you today?
So as you can tell, that date has passed. Now, does that mean... So this is a question I didn't ask Toto. Are the packs sat there waiting to go? Are they here in the... I guess it's going to reset. Are they here in the FBO? I don't know. I guess we could bring them whenever. Really, we want to be going at 1000 is our departure. That gives us ample time. I think the packs are going to probably arrive before then, but of course they could. I'm just going to go with that. We're probably going to need a little bit more fuel. I think we had about 2.5. We're going to need maybe another couple of 100 kilos, just because we're going all the way back to London. I did think about getting into London City. I'd have to read up a bit too much about it for the steep approach. I know the Charlie can do it. The mod is nothing physical to the aircraft, but I didn't have time to do that today, so I did download the updated scenery. Anyway, get some fuel, and everything else is...
Of course, Captain. I'll get that organized for you right away.
Great. I'm sure Toto will have the edge case of what happens if you don't fly a walk-off and then come back, because he does think these things through. So here is the jet. Steps are down because I guess somebody's dragged it out. I mean, I put them down, but they turn up and they could be down. I'm already on VATSIM, as you can see here. There's nobody else about. Got the place to ourselves. It's looking quite nice. I'm getting frame rates in the 60s. So, let's have a little one. Start doing anything else. So, first checks. Circuit breakers. I don't think I've pulled anything. That click and hold has made a big difference. I'm going to pop the fuel on. But of course, the battery's not on, so I do have to go out and do that. What happens when you get out of sequence? Well, those are checked. Although there's no point checking the circuit breakers until you pop the power on anyway. Though they are in, so you'll know if they are popped. So, let's wander out and do a little walk around. Take those chocks out. What is it about the shadows that just seem unrealistic? That doesn't look like it's on the ground. And why is that? It's in shadow. Should it be darker? I don't know. That's one aspect that I think could be improved. There's, you know, when things just don't quite look right. I mean, that looks okay, but it just still doesn't quite seem to be on the ground. So, there's one battery. Leave this open. The switch up to come down. Get to that point. You can check the oxygen in here if you want. Not sure when it gets replenished, but we can replenish it. Made in USA, that was always a Simpsons joke, wasn't it? Nice looking jet. grubby APU. It's a nice touch. And until we are rear compartment modelled, the APU there, we'd open up the baggage bay. Have a look at everything else. Nice shiny reflections. Not a lot of detail, but then I suppose there should be some trees in that reflection, shouldn't there? Guess there's a limit on how far those reflections go. So, all looks good. I'm going to leave this up just to remind me that we nose door. Lamp test for the fuel, and you can see, I mean, it operates pretty accurately. They're all off. Double check the circuit breakers. Popped. No white collars. Check that while we're here, and of course, emergency equipment and the paperwork, etc. So, what we'll do is there we go. Load up on an iPad, see if anybody's in chat. Nobody is. And I've got my small iPad, which I use for real flying charts, etc. So, airplane and flight bulbs done, circuit breakers done, emergency equipment, yep, fine. Hydraulic pumps, all four are off. This is where we check the hardware as well. Nose steer is mapped and off. Gear lever is down. Flight spoiler lever is stowed and matches. Flaps were up and the flap lever is up. We have that mapped. ADG manual release down there is stowed. So with that in mind, the battery master can come on. So let's EFD, MFD. Up so you can see them. And then we're looking for 22 volts minimum. Just wait for all the dings. And you can see there that we do have 22 volts minimum. Frame rates, so I lose a little bit of FPS with the pop-outs. We're down to about 53 from about 59. I'm GPU limited, which is making me consider an upgrade, especially for some more VRAM, but I hate GPU prices, especially as they are currently. Fuel is going to gently tick up as it registers, so we'll let that settle down while we're waiting. So it's 24 degrees. What time is it? Oh, I suppose it is sort of 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry, 11 o'clock in the morning out over in Poland way. DCs we've checked. FireX 1, 2 left and right checked. APU checked, 1 and 2 green. Detection 2, 3, 4, 5. Action. 2, 3,
Jet pipe overheat.
5. Warning.
Jet
warning.
pipe
3 red.
overheat.
3
Jet
greens,
pipe
and then there's
overheat.
nothing else. So that's those done. Nav lights are on, and we are ready to start the APU. So I'll put the power fuel on, but I won't start it just yet until the fuel settles down. And then we'll get everything powered up. While I'm doing that, I'm just doing a quick fill in of the OFP, having a look at The en route charts for our route. Bit of a longer flight, but not too bad. A pain in the back as well, so it always helps things go a bit smoother. I'm getting the weather in a minute. It's a Eurocontrol validated flight plan, but we're probably not going to have any ATC today. Somebody's just joined, so if you are watching, please say hi in chat. There's a little bit of ATC coverage on, which I'm surprised. Heathrow and Gatwick, so Heathrow Tower they're not going to cover, but approach would cover into Northolt. Our routing in, I can't show on here, but of course Northolt shares Heathrow arrivals. And remember, we stopped flying out of Northolt and moved to Benson just because of the absolute carnage that Heathrow can be, trying to get a clearance in, etc. Anyway, so I think we've got 2490 on board. I'm going to need 2835. So I'm going to need another 345 kilos of fuel. Minimal additional fuel, just because I'm not expecting any weather or ATC delays. We have got forecast. It's severe cav OK in Krakow. Northolt is cav OK, although actually it's alright. I thought today was forecast to be a little bit windy. It is a bit windier the further north and the further up you go. Now, this is where frame rate tanked. Last time it could have just been coincidence. So I'm just going to display that. You'll see it out of the corner up here. But it seems pretty steady in the 50s. And it's the inconsistency with X-Plane that's the problem. It's the massive dips. You start adding some thick weather and you start dipping down into the 30s, which is just less than ideal. But you never know. We'll see what happens with the next version update. So wait for the fueler to give us a density. If he ever makes it. So what did I say we wanted? 345? Yeah, right. That includes 100 kilos for
All right,
the
Captain.
APU.
Fuel truck is hooked up. Just let me know how much fuel you need. Or would you like to go tanks full today?
So, divided by 0.811 gives us 425 litres, and then this slider is in gallons. I appreciate you can't see all of it. 425 or 40 round up.
All right, I'm gonna go start up the pump.
And let's pay attention whilst we do this. So, I'm going to open all of those. Once we get some pressure applied, it's going to bump up if we do have any extra fuel. A little bit extra doesn't matter. There we go. Shut off test. And we'll shut those so that we get no fuel in the aux tail tanks. Of course, the tail would only open based on the computer. So I think the left and right main just excuse my headset cutting off there. I still refuse to install Steel Series bloatware, which stops it from doing that. I might find a workaround at some point. So yeah, the computer works out the tail and the aux to maintain CG. So, camera on the APU whilst fueling, so let's get the APU started. It is 0919. Don't think there's any restrictions on APU fuel. Don't know if you saw the APU battery was under load as it started up and it went yellow, which again, completely modelled electrical system. I don't think you're going to get that level of realism anywhere
Refueling
else.
is complete, Captain. Do you need anything else?
Okay, so we want 2835. Again, there's a little buffer for the APU fuel. There's going to be some lag in this, so I think we're good.
Okay, just one quick signature on here, and I'll be on my way.
So we have had 439.8. And I will sign for that.
Here's a copy.
Definitely
for
not May the
reference.
1st, there's a
Have
bug
a nice
there.
day.
I'll remember to shut those. To 830. So we had 439.8. So 357 kilos. Gives us 2846, 2830 on the gauge, close enough. So, we can establish AC power. And now my primary has fired up, getting a lot more sort of jitter, variation in the frame rate there. There is definitely something going on in Windows or in the background. I've got GPU frame time of, let's say, 191, and then the actual frame is jittering much higher between them. I don't think that's a challenge issue. Toto certainly said that this is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's all managed by Windows and X-Plane, so we are where we are.
Flight compartment checklist. AC and DC electrics.
AC and DC electrics. So, kill those. DC 26 volts. I think we're looking for, again, 22 minimum. TR user working, and all buses that are on. They're all green, and the AC, as you can see, they're sensible values. I should have checked that before turning it on. But all good.
Nav lights, logo light.
There are, the nav lights are on, the logo's off.
Cockpit lights.
We can turn all of these up. This makes absolutely no difference to me because I've got my external monitors that you can see, which are independent.
Lamp test.
Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Oh, testing them.
Duct monitor.
So it's up here. Listening for bleed air duct.
Bleed air duct.
Switch lights 1, 2,
Bleed
3, 4,
air duct.
5.
Bleed
Warnings.
air
Duct test OK in the green. Then loop A, green. Loop B.
FMS database status.
I've updated the database. Well done me. So there it is. April 15th of May. Happy ARAC. What are we on? ARAC 4?
FMS flight plan uplink. ATIS.
So, index, route, flight plan recall, and I think I can simply do our tail number, send it.
Anti-skid.
Green.
Nose door.
So the switch should be up, but of course we are just going to check. Clear, clear in case it's dropped down and then might come up again.
Hydraulic 3A pump. Brake pressure.
Is on. Brake pressure is down here. You can see that. We're looking for 3000 on the inboard.
Parking brake.
Push. Lock. Green set.
Nose door.
So the check is nose door closed. Let's go outside and sort that out. And maybe I should actually have that shut. Things start spinning up. I'm sure I'll get told off by the big cheese if he ends up watching. I've done something wrong. But for me that's a nice visual cue. And you do, of course, if you look on the MFD, you can see external door open. So close that, see that goes. So that is another info that you shouldn't be missing if you are doing your checks.
Hydraulic panel and pumps.
So we're going to test all of these. So we've got sensible quantities and temperatures. So all of the Bravo pumps have just come on. Pressurizing up, outboard brakes have pressurized, all the accumulators are pressurized. Go flying, switch forward. I like that philosophy. There we go. We checked 1 and 2 low. The expected.
Electric panel.
Gen 1 and 2 are off.
AC DC utility switch.
Out. Light out.
Start ignition panel.
Out. Out and extinguished. Yep.
Fuel panel.
1, 2, 3. 2 green, 2 white. 1 white. 2 whites. Right. No white. No greens. Checked.
APU LCV.
Is that one open? Light on.
TPAX.
That was 10th stage. Just double click the switch. It's open 2. Packs on.
Air conditioning panel.
What are we looking for here? Normal, ram air out, extinguished, guarded, set to cabin, temperatures as we like.
Pressurization panel.
So I think Northolt is only a couple of 100 feet above sea level. So something like that will do. And the pressure 1012, which is close enough to 2992, which is somewhere there. Man rate, man out centered, man rates all the way clockwise. Press cont, manual on ICAS, out, full light illuminates, go on emergency depress, out, extinguished, guarded. The altitude, pressure set, and the selector pip rate is aligned.
Bleed air panel.
So, all out, not lit. This is the lit valley, so out on, in, and on, out, on.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel switch.
That's down here. And is out. And the wing anti-ice switch is off.
Cal anti-ice switches.
So we push these in. We're looking for any cal caution. There is none. Out.
Anti-ice panel.
So just for a better view, wing switch is off. Left and right heat are extinguished. Cal left and right are out. Windshield. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4 greens. Ice detect. That's one caution. There's a ding, but no oral, and then wing. Wing overhit.
Wing
overheat. Wing overheat on the
Wing
ICAS.
overheat.
And anti-ice test okay.
Emergency lights.
So, I wonder if they're going to be modelled next time. They are currently off. Emergency lights off. On. We get the info in white. We pop them to ARM, and they will go out. And of course, you'd put them on, go and physically check that they will illuminated.
Passenger signs.
Well, let's put those on. Leave the no smoking's on.
ELT.
Armed.
Glare shield panel.
Checked and clear.
Crew and passenger oxygen.
We've got 1900 psi. And of course you can come and physically check these. And same on this side. Brake hangover cure. Allegedly, not that I'd know.
DCU warning panel.
That is over the other side. Let's see if anybody's in chat while I'm thinking about it. Nope, just me. So DC warning panel is over here, and you can see how extinguish guarded.
CVR.
Push. We might struggle to see the light up. Yes, I saw it light up there, and it's gone off.
Audio panels.
So stall protection here for the next check. Doesn't really matter this side. Head over here. Com 1 is selected, and we are on Unicom.
SPS system.
So stall protection both on. You're going to put stab trim 1 on. Go all the way down. And I've disconnected. Flight controls displayed. Simultaneously hold left and right. We're going to look for stall fail. Ignition A and B. And stick shakers should engage. We check with the region on the left there. Stall lights. Independently check that the AP disconnect on both sides works. Elevator surface should go all the way fully forward, and the co-pilot control should be fully forward. I can't do the G test, but the stick pusher should release and then reactivate fully when the G test is left off. I don't know how you can do that with the mouse, to be honest. I don't think you can. So, here we go. Stall fail. Ignition A and B. Goes all the way forward. Stall warning. Disconnect. Happy days.
Integrated standby instrument.
That is down here. Get the weather in a minute, but looks serviceable. Don't need to cage it.
Clock.
Flight hours set. UTC is correct. Within about 7 seconds compared to my watch.
EFIS. ICAS.
Checked. They all look sensible.
Main landing gear bay overheat.
Is of course down here, so test the fail. Caution. Listen for the warning. Gear bay overheat.
Gear bay overheat.
And the warning displayed.
Gear
TOS
bay
warning switches.
overheat.
So tools warning out, extinguish guarded. And test.
Flight slope. Pull up. Wind shear.
All of the things I
Wind shear.
normally hear
Wind
on
shear.
one of my average approaches.
Terrain. Pull up.
Cool.
Pitch and roll disconnects.
You can see them here, they are stowed.
Ground spoilers.
So ground spoilers should be, I believe, in auto. We don't check them at this point.
Thrust reversers.
The emergency stows are out and they are armed.
Thrust levers.
1 full free correct set cutoff, 2 full correct set cutoff
Engine speed switches.
are both on.
Engine vibration check.
Is this one. And you can see VIB goes up to 3.5 and stops.
Oral warning.
Just to check that the speakers work.
Smoke detector.
Listening for smoke. Toilet and baggage bay.
Smoke. Smoke.
Checking the warnings.
Trims, mock trim.
So I don't do the full check because it's just a bit of a faff, to be honest, but of course you do need to do it in reality. You've got two, you guys can't see that, but you've got two buttons on each yoke, so if one fails you don't get a trim runaway. They both have to activate to operate the trim, and I think that's common to any electrical trim system because it just makes sense. There's no manual trim on the jet, so you need to check both systems operate independently. So I mean, I'm going to run through it, but I'm not going to do the full check. So 1 Mac trim, go in. Stab 2 in-op status, yes. Now you're meant to push the Copilot stab trim disconnect, which I think is that one. It is, so that does work. And then you get stab trim, Mac trim. Repeat the test with that one, that one. What I didn't do was the clacker. And then disconnect with the pilot side. So stab trim 1, and you want to do both trim switches. Clacker in both directions. So this is my side doing it. There's the clacker. Now what's interesting is I thought I had that mapped to... Oh, I see. So it does it depending on the side you're on. That's interesting. So didn't realise that. So just by swapping seats, there we go. And then repeat with stab trim 2 and Mac trim using Copilot and Pilot, and then disconnect the pilot's side. So that one, that one. Go down. Hopefully it'll clack before it gets to the end. So you can do it, just takes a little bit longer, and obviously I would do it in reality. And then pilot side, disconnect. Then we're going to put 1 and 2 in. We're looking for no stab trim caution, no channel 1 and 2, then Mac trim is also gone. Set the pitch for takeoff, which is going to be relatively steep because we're quite light, so we'll go for like 6. Check for movement of aileron and rudder trim and ensure both are set. I'm not going to do that, but you know that you can, and of course you do in reality.
Yacht amperes.
That's a simple engage.
Reversionary inhibit switches.
They're all down here, set normal, so they should all be pointing up. That one's to the left. And the CDU tunes all out and extinguished.
IRS.
That we can check down here. The flight plan is loaded, which is good. Display. Window VNAV this side. Yeah, so we've got VNAV this side because that's what I want to see, and then gross weight because I barely check that. I only need it once it's over that side. There we go. IRS 3 times nav.
CPDLC.
Not required.
TCAS.
Tune. Set 2000. I didn't want that. Leave that on standby. That above, below, and we can test. Somebody's watching, so if you're watching, you say hi. If you need to subscribe, that's just a bribe. That's just me bribing people to join. So TCAS system check is okay.
HOTAS and clearance.
So I don't think there's anybody online. So what we'll do is we'll get the weather on here. I wonder if you could get it free or no, you want it from, don't you? So, terminal weather. So, we are at Krakow. Going to Bolt. And our alternate is Manchester. So, we'll send all of those. Can, of course, get more. So parking stands, we're on stand 20. I'm just going to write that down, even though we're not asking for clearance. Terminal weather, so let's look at the weather for departure. It's 0930 Zulu, so 10 minutes ago. The wind is 0808. Cav OK. Answers in chat for exactly what that means. 22. 11, temp says 22 in the cabin, temp says 22 outside, 1025. And then you got the forecast there as well, which I'm not too fussed about. 5 and an extra click, E027. The aerodrome elevation off of the chart is 791 feet. That agrees with the altimeters. They're not giving us incorrect readings so far.
FMS flight plan, wind update, perf.
So ATIS clearance, nil clearance, and flight plan. Let's have a look. So although it's downloaded, we'll double check the routing. OMFOL actually brought that in. Is that realistic or not? I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily expect the SIDS and stars to be included because of course they do change. 07 is a sensible runway with a 080 wind, even though it's only 8 knots. OMFOL direct to DINOV, Tango 738 to LASIS, direct ZUCKA, direct ABNED, Lima 980 to Logan, and then the Logan to Hotel to Lambourne, and then into... Oh. So, I don't know what the exact runway is. Yes, I do. 07072. So we're going to be taking off. We're facing north. We're going to be going down to the end. I'm a dunce. There we go. 072. Because we are turning right onto the runway and departing out to the east. So let's set the runway heading, just so we don't make any gross errors. So that flight plan is correct. We can activate it, execute it. Check fuel is fine because we haven't done any of the perf in it yet. Alternates EGCC, that is there. Flight plan, wind update, and for wind update we need to put in depart. So 10:15. That's probably somewhat reasonable with a bit of a taxi. Perf is what we want. So let's start filling some of this in. It is 22, we did check that. Thrust limit, going to be light. Are we going to do a screaming takeoff? We've got 8,000 feet of runway. So I'm it down a little bit. That increases fuel consumption but reduces engine wear. That's the only reason you do it, not the other way around. Makes it a little bit smoother for takeoff. So we are expecting, we're going to put 4 packs in because basic operating weight is with 2 crew. We have 3 packs and 1 crew. So we'll put that in there. Let's estimate 80 kilos of baggages. Do sensed fuel on there. 2800 is fine. 400 is our cruise. Our alternate to Manchester is at 180. Looking at the load, no, not the load sheet, the OFP weights, we're looking at a takeoff weight of about 15.7, which seems to agree. Close enough. And of course we have to calculate the stab trim, but we can't do that yet. We will do those wins in a minute. Our reserves, final reserve is actually 400 for 30 minutes. I'm happy to leave it at 500. 11:15 is when we think we're going to be going. Taxi fuel 100. Fine, go with that. I think that's key for the flight plan wind update, so let's get that.
Takeoff data.
So, there are intersections, but I don't think these are approved. So, I'm going to have to use the full runway length, which is a little odd, because we probably could go from Delta. So, 07, we've got the wind at 080. So there's obviously a reason why you do these in this order. 1025, mean not headwind, slight wind right. 2559, I've got 2550. Close enough. I mean, I suppose the question is, would you bet your life on it? Andy, hello. Am I very quiet? I do apologise. I can turn that up.
Hello, Captain. It's Jenny from Hot Start Flight Support.
Hello, Jenny.
Your passengers have arrived. Shall I have them brought to the plane?
Sure, let's go.
Understood. They'll be there in a couple of minutes. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. So there are my levels a little bit higher. It's difficult, of course, to tell, so I do apologise for that. No, that's it, Jenny, thanks.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Great, where were we? So, takeoff data is input. So, at full power, we're going to only need 1,000 meters, so of course we could take an intersection. If we go back and let's flex this bad boy. Let's try. That shouldn't be out of bounds. Select, and we can go to Perfinite. Back to takeoff. See what we need. Probably take 50, so we could take max. I think 50 is the max. By 55, out of bounds yet. So 50 is the max. Did that just go up? It was 88, wasn't it? So that hasn't changed. Perfinite. Takeoff. A little bit more sedate. And our field length, which includes factors. Does it include factors? Yes, because it's a length, whereas a distance doesn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the right way around. Takeoff weight, gross weight. Let's have a look at the departure. Are there any restrictions? We need, it's not for terrain, so it must be for airspace. Because the MSA is in the sector that we're going to, a 3,000, and then out to the west. So north and east is 3,000, north and west is 3,200. Climb to 6,000 is the initial climb. And 7% climb gradient. I think I've set this up for percentages.
Hello,
And you see,
Captain. Hope you are doing well today.
very well, thanks, Pax.
Great. There's nobody else coming along today. So as far as we're concerned, we're all good to go.
Great. We're going as soon as we can. Hopefully they don't mind a slight wait. So you see we can't quite make that climb gradient at the moment, but I think OCR is single engine. Or is it? So should reduce it down if needed. But like I say, it's airspace related. Are we particularly worried? No. It only needs it to FOPFU. I tell you what, let's reduce it down and see if we can just out of interest. Thrust limit, let's try, this is the trouble with having to fat finger it in, let's try 45. .6, there we go. So, something in between that. Happy days. Max 230 during initial turn, we'll do that on the departure brief. Great. And you can see max takeoff weight, still got plenty of payload. So, takeoff data, I haven't sent it through, that's the only thing I've got left to do. Checked. Send. V-speeds populated.
Avionics and charts.
So what have I got? I've got Rose mode, ICAS, window VNAV, PPOS, line, and then the other side. I'm bus charts I'm not displaying, I'm using my own.
Flight instruments.
So, WARTHOG, 230 in the turn, so I'm going to line this up. 200, and that's just a mental note. It's probably going to be in the legs page as well. Let's double check the departure. That's part of the departure briefing. So, auto thrust is armed, flight director armed, gauge nav. So I'm going to arm LNAV. Logical check. So we look appropriate, approximately level, slightly nose down on the pan. 340. We're heading on this stand roughly north, which is sensible. You can see that our initial departure is taking us to the east. Matches up with the runway, which makes sense. Kilo 801, 072, 2800 and max 230. Until that point we can then turn and speed up. Reset nav. So FMS1 is providing guidance. And we've got some VORs tuned just for info. I'm not using them for departure, it's an on-nav departure. FMS1, B speeds 117, 121, 129, 151. Speed tape AOA sensible. 200 is set. Left side takeoff, left side flight director, TO. Initial altitude is not set because we're not cleared. Aerodrome elevation is sensible, we've checked that. VSI 0, 1025 set, and 86.5 flex N1 set.
Departure briefing.
So, as we discussed, this is an RNAV departure straight ahead. Let's double check the legs down here. So, with the chart, Kilo 801, yes, 230, 2800 above. Guff C, Kilo 809, we're looking at 5.2, close enough, 5.46. Duffo 1100, 1000, flight level 110 actually above. Hopfu 302, so 7% up to there. And then the rest of the departure looks coded, and we've still got some climb restriction. Some climbs there, and then 400 is out for climb. So relatively simple departure.
Emergency procedures.
Yeah.
Pins, covers, chocks.
There are still chocks in at the front. We'll leave the nose wheel in as we've got someone to help with the start. If we didn't have that, then we'd take it out ourselves.
Cabin lights, water heaters, master seat.
That's all in the back, and we'll say that's done.
Flight compartment checklist complete. Engine start checklist next.
So, we would have shut the door earlier once the packs were on board. Let me just get my desk set up. Not bad for timing, considering a little bit rusty and the dramas we had last time. I'll just double check the frame rate for the last time. 50 FPS, so that's a big old difference from about 59.
Engine start checklist. Doors. Closed. Parking brake and pressure. Checked and set. Fuel quantity and balance.
So the limit for taxi takeoff and landing is 400 pounds, which is 182 kilos, and we're at 130. So let's just pull that out for a moment. I think we've only used about 50 kilos of fuel for the APU as well. So there is some lag. That's going into the center. Everything's drawn there. When the engines are running, it is.
Beacon.
So
On. Fuel boost pumps. On. Ignition.
Bravo. I forgot what we used last time.
Engine 2 start.
So we would call up ATC, request an engine start, and depending where you are, depends what you do with the transponder. Pop it on. We're going to start engine number 2 first. It's going to be 9:56. So right engine, which is number 2, starting engine number 2. We're an increase in N2 and oil pressure, which we've got. Then we're looking for 20% N2, ITT less than 120, N1 turning. Checked. Fuel on. Fuel flow is increasing. ITT is increasing, and oil pressure is increasing.
Fuel system.
So right's running, we're looking for left low pressure. Engine number 2, we have 2, 4, 6, 2 stable start, and we have left and right pump caution. The left low pressure.
Engine
Checked.
1 start.
And of course it is worth doing this because they will check for covers, etc. Clear to start engine number 1, starting engine number 1. N2 turning, oil pressure's increasing, 20%, less than 120, and N1 turning, checked, fuel on, ITT is increasing, flow's increasing, and oil pressure is increasing. Green. Did I just turn those off when they were meant to be in?
Engine
Done.
start checklist complete. After start checklist, next.
Engine number 1, 2, 4, 6, 2, stable. We'll get the chock out.
After start checklist. Generator 1 and 2. On, checked AC and
It's
DC.
online.
Ignition.
So chocks are out.
Disarmed.
Disarmed.
Caps.
Check DC.
On. 14th stage.
No, wrong one. Those 2. No, I managed it. I managed it. Hit these. There we go.
Open. Cowl anti-ice.
Cowl anti-ice comes to...
On, check 45 seconds. Flight controls.
Full forward. Full off. Full left. Full right. Full left rudder. Full right rudder.
Ground spoilers.
So down here we have auto to disarm. Nothing deploys. Auto to arm. They deploy back to auto. They stow.
Flight spoilers.
Way up. All out to half. To stowed.
Cal anti-ice.
Yeah, it's on.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice. Test on. Fuel balance.
We are now 70 kilos, which is well within.
Trims.
1, 2, 3, set for takeoff.
No steer.
Chocks are out, no steer can come on.
Armed. APR.
On. Test OK, 2, test OK.
ADG unit.
Hold in unit, which is this way. The lamp should go out, it does.
Supplemental ground wing anti-ice.
Just waiting for that. One. Down here. Andy, I don't think I've seen you on the channel before, so thanks very much for joining if you have. Hopefully it's not too dull. If you haven't got the jet, buy it, it's great. If you need to save up for it, do that, because it really is great. It's pretty much all I fly now. I'll give Concord a go back where, again, once that gets updated. So, where's our test? There it is.
Cal anti-ice. Off. Wing anti-ice. Norm. 14-stage isolation valve. Wing anti-ice.
So, wing anti-ice on, left and right heats on, yellow N2 we have. The check says standby.
Checked off.
Well, that doesn't
ATS.
matter. That should have come back, but it hasn't. Ooh. There we go, disconnected, fine. N1TO, we're looking for N1 flex.
ATC TCAS. TARA. After start checklist complete. Taxi checklist next.
So we are clear to the left, clear to the right. We're going to be taxiing forward. Probably going to be doing a left-hand turn because I imagine that everyone will be entering and coming back into the pan this way. So we'll go forwards, do a left-hand turn on Sierra, Golf, and then we will pass down Bravo to the end at Foxtrot. Double check, see if there's anybody online to effect. Not that we can see. We're on Unicom. Krakow traffic. Prefect 99, Challenger 650, stand 20. Taxiing a whole short runway 07 via Sierra, Juliet, Bravo and Foxtrot. Krakow traffic. Clear left. Clear right.
Taxi checklist. Taxi lights. On. Wing and Cal anti-ice.
Not required.
Brakes and steering.
We have got 2740. And we are off blocks. So, all through all those, no check to make brakes work. Got some equipment here, so I'm not going to do any aggressive manoeuvring just until we clear that. We're going around to the left. So, right, left, increase, increase. All rudders available in both directions.
Reverse thrust.
We'll do that once we get off the pan. So just to double check, our minimum takeoff fuel is 2633, so we've still got another 100 kilos. We can accept a little bit of a weight. What are we using at the moment? 210, so maybe a sort of 25-30 minute hold on the ground. Could always consider shutting down shutting one down if we needed to. I'm gonna go straight across here. Oh yes, the grass is painted. Great. I did say Juliet, didn't I? No, Golf, we are on Golf, good. So, let's check the right reverser, transit green, It. Staying with the left.
If taxiing the de-ice, pause checklist here until a paper de-ice checklist is complete.
De-ice is not required.
Flaps. 20. Altimeters. Set and cross-checked. Radar weather. On. Takeoff briefing.
So we have no weather radar in X-plane. Takeoff briefing is left-hand seat takeoff. Standard takeoff with M1 flex. We'll try and moderate the departure, but you're probably going to have to climb quite rapidly to meet that 7% gradient. So we'll probably self-clear ourselves. There's still nobody online. Follow the RNAV. Continue our route. Any issues, we'll come back to the airfield. What do we have around us? Are there any other airfields nearby? Probably not big enough. Up to V1, we will stop at the call for V1. You should. Ugh. Not the best scenery in the world. Need to tweak. I don't think I have tweaked this, but maybe I should. At the call for V1, you should be able to stop, but it can be quite tight. So we'll only reject for any red items. Otherwise, we're going flying.
Taxi checklist complete. Before takeoff checklist next.
A bit quick, 24 knots. We've got idle thrust. In reality, it is quite a quick aeroplane on the ground, and they do sometimes deploy reversers just to keep speed in check. See the speed just dropping down there. I'll put Volanta, the overlay, up. Though I suppose it is particularly needed now that we've got PFD and the MFD on screen. So still nobody online, so we're going to self-clear for departure. Initial climb 6, and then actually we're going to free climb up to 400. The transition altitude is 6,500, so that is 6,000 as an altitude. So the reverser there as we're going uphill. Alright, let's do some last looks. That looks airways to me.
Before takeoff checklist. Passenger signs. Advised on. Anti-collision light. On. Pros. On. Windshield heat. On. Wing and cowl anti-ice.
Not required.
Continuous ignition. On. ATC TCAS. TARA. Supplemental ground wing anti-ice panel. Checked. CAS. Takeoff config OK.
Checked.
Landing, pulse, recog lights. On. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Great.
After takeoff checklist next.
Krakow traffic, Prefect 99 lining up, departing runway 07. On an OMFOL 1 Foxtrot departure, Krakow traffic.
Approaching 07.
So ample runway, but we're not going to waste it. So let's line up on
On
the
runway
numbers.
07.
So that paint can be slippery. So can pull forwards. It's 10. 2710. Let's go. ATS is armed. ASI is reading.
80 knots.
Checked.
V1. Rotate.
A little bit sticky.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Safe height, safe speed. We're greater than +5, so let's get flaps up and accelerate.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. 0. Thrust reversers. Off. Ignition. Off. Pressurization. Checked. PAX transition. Completed. N1. Climb set. APU generator. Off. APU. Shut down. Passenger signs.
Just going to leave them on for the moment.
CAS.
Checked and clear.
After takeoff checklist complete.
So 230 we haven't exceeded. FLC, N1 climb, standard set, plunge forward. Ooh, that's a bit of a steep turn. Standard X-plane scenery, probably should have done ortho, but I think I do need a bit more VRAM for that. Oh, that looks fun. Max X-plane or Active Sky, whoever did that. So we are now free to accelerate. Keep that climb profile, although actually we're going to have time to accelerate. So is it 280, 300? Yes, you can see that there. The change between Active Sky and X-plane. Is it 280 or is it 300? Let's go 280. As the airplane gets thrown about. Forward to that X-plane update. So we've easily made the restrictions. That's it. 809. So, somewhere in Austria is online. Still climbing pretty steep. RC200, how's the pressurization doing? Cabin out is sensible, delta P is climbing, and the rate is also sensible. So we've got some people watching. It's interesting. I didn't expect anyone to be about today. So we are overhead Duffo. It is. I'm going to call that 1060, and we've got 2480 on board. Was our departure, and we're off at 10:10. So we were 5 minutes early, we are now only 4 minutes early. And we departed with 2710, about right. Scribbling it down, all on the OFP, terrible for the environment. So we've now climbed over the last restriction, which was Yonki above 230. So we've got no issues. 1013. So that one's standard as well. And you can see I'm in active sky territory. So active skies modelling the winds, but this turbulence is all X-plane generated, I believe. We're going to do it in the 60s, hit the 70s. And then the next thing we're looking for is decimal 78 in the climb. Which... we didn't have plan speed. Oh no, it was 300. That's entirely my fault. I think it was 280. So we might as well accelerate now while we've still got a bit of energy. And let me know if the volume levels are no good. I'll probably get us to 7.8 and then we'll change over. I guess the curtain must make some difference with the noise. Now a bit in the back. There we go, decimal 78 for the climb. So you can see our route there, that's as far as we go. Terrain radar, of course, is not a radar, the weather radar is. So although it does a sweep, it is... I don't know why it presents like that. I'm going to put turbulence mode on because look at the aeroplane janking about. It simply gets it from DTED or TORS, whatever the terrain database is. There is no physical radar for rain. Ugh. Bounce all over the place. So I don't know why it makes a scanning motion, but it does. I'm sure Big Cheese himself can explain. turns up. So, what are we overhead? Off pick. I'm going to wait till OMFOL to fill in the OFP because I'm fussed. Certainly doesn't particularly matter to me for every leg, especially when they're quite close together. At least you've got an idea of roughly what time you're going to be overhead, roughly how early you are compared to your plan, and more importantly is just keeping that fuel log to make sure you've got enough to complete. Of course, yes, in this jet we've got portion messages because it's working it out, but then if you're flying something simple that doesn't, it's good habits to be in, and it's better to be in the habit for the lowest common denominator rather than switching each time. Overhead Yoki, still climbing. You see the climb rate starting to drop off. Wow, got quite a lot of people watching, so jump in chat, hit subscribe if you want to post a message. Like I say, it's a plain up bribe sub to join the chat, and feel free to ask any questions, most of which I probably can't even answer. What I can do is tell you how great the aeroplane is, that you should buy it, and then go get it and have fun. You can see my hardware. You can't see the frame rates because I can't shift those over. I suppose I could extract. No, I don't think I can. This is all I've got on my canvas. But, you know, it's cav okay. I'm getting 70 frames per second. You saw it was sort of like 40, 50 on the ground. The hardware specs are there. That's with a relatively big screen. The anti-aliasing has been turned down because of that increase in resolution, so I think the image quality is still there, but it's an OLED monitor, so it is significantly better. I got a very good deal on it. Yes, it does have a little bit of text fringing. Does it bother me a little bit sometimes? But I think I can live with it just for the quality of the image. 1,000 to go. And once we capture, I'm going to then wind the speed up just to make that a bit smoother. What do you think about the Volanta overlay? Is it worth it, or will I just kill it, seeing as we've got the other displays? I appreciate they're sort of in the way, but there isn't really a better way, I don't think, that I can display those. They don't show up on my screen, obviously, because I've got two external monitors with the PFD, MFD, and the clock. Andy, yes. I think we're in severe agreement that, just waiting for flight level change to tick over to out capture, which should be soon, but I guess it's dependent on the rate there, anything, because it still hasn't done it. There we go. What I didn't want was the throttles to wind back before we get to 0.8, so if you time that correctly, then the airplane will continue to accelerate. We're overhead OMFOL at 10.6A. So we're now only 3 minutes early, so we've lost a little bit of time, and we've got 2290. Expected fuel on board is 2.3, so we are good. Andy, we're in severe agreement. Violent agreement even. I would go one step further though and say that CL650 is the best aircraft, hands down. I don't play DCS, so I'll say civilian aircraft. The level of complexity in modelling, there are some small GA aircraft that are probably well modelled, but even they I doubt have any level of modelling for you know, the complete electrical network, everything else. So I think this is the best aircraft you can get on any sim. The sim needs a little bit of work, which Laminar are obviously doing. Hopefully that can only improve performance, etc. I'd like to get flying with Ortho again, and I'll probably need to upgrade a GPU again. So if anybody wants a standard 1070, hit me up and we'll discuss the price. I don't know what they're worth. Jason, yeah, totally agree. I literally don't fly anything else because, you know, Zebo was something that I really enjoyed flying. Great rendition of the 737, especially because it's free. But again, Zebo's great, really committed, and clearly very smart, but Toto is a different level, considering that this aircraft was built by 2 people, one guy doing all the code, and one guy doing all of the modelling, etc. You can see just how talented they both are. You think someone like PMDG, the amount of resources and money that they have, and I don't think appreciate that airliners are significantly more complex, maybe by an order of magnitude. They don't have anywhere near this level of sophistication. Things like LibRadio, LibElec, you know, having a fully modelled electrical system is just insane. And I think that, I mean, there might have been other people helping, but I'm pretty sure it's just two developers full time. And bear in mind that I think they turned this out in under 3 years. I mean, I think it might have really been 2. Obviously the A220 is coming at some point, and that's going to be more airliner-ish. Again, when you look at some of the big development houses, and I don't think I'm being unfair to PMDG when I talk about them, because I think they're probably one of the higher quality. I think it's fair to say there is a level of quality with PMDG. However, it doesn't reach this. They are significantly bigger and they take a lot longer to churn things out. So, this goes to show what can be done, I think. So, where we go in? DINOV. Oh, I didn't record top of climb. It was pretty much at OMFOL, wasn't it? So, 2.6. 6 minutes early. We were 5 minutes early for takeoff. I think we climbed a bit quicker, so happy days. Good enough. DINOV's the next one, and then a little bit of time until we get to the FIR boundary at LASIS. Is there anybody online? Let's have a look. VATScope. Probably not. So, I'm going to put my feet up for a little bit. I'm not going to be far away. I do have the headset on, so if anybody does say anything on chat, I'll know about it. There's a few airports online. Southampton approach, Gatwick ground, Manchester. There's no en route controllers apart from down in Barcelona. So I think we're going to be on our own. Got a little bit of traffic coming the other way. How many people are there online? That's annoying to be able to find out. Just because I find it interesting. There's no events. Ah, all aircrafts. View all aircrafts. There are 745 aircraft on VATSIM on at the moment. 25 observers. They might be doing shared cockpit, for instance, and 68 controllers, which I suppose is not bad for a random Tuesday. I just wanted to get back into the sim, a little bit of sim currency, seeing as I'm approaching my club currency of 60 days. I think I'm about 54 days in, so I do also need to try and fly it in reality as well. Today's a nice day for it. I think my club's only got one serviceable aircraft and somebody has booked it. So, today, said in a Yorkshire accent in the style of The Death of Stalin. I don't really have a lot more junk to talk about other than how great this is and you should buy it. I'm going to sit in the back. I'd like to see people. That was a little bit jittery. Getting 40s in the back. I guess that's just because there's a lot more to model back here. Aeroplane's still bouncing around, but I don't know if you guys can see that. Not great. I mean, I don't know, just not very realistic. Like I say, fix should be in the pipe. Where are the lunch textures? I want to sit down here, get my suit out. Meaning flight time an hour 33, so pretty good, isn't it? I mean, even just to code the screen like a real thing, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty confident in saying that that's going to be realistic. That's what the screen does. They've checked. I know there's lots of issues with the documentation, so they have access obviously to the real docs. And there's issues with the documentation that doesn't match the jet, so testing in the real jet that I think the docs say that the maximum range on the PFD and the MFD is greater than 300, but clearly it isn't. Therefore that's where it stops, because these guys know what they're doing. Although that's not 300, is it? Yeah, that is 300, 150, so... What else is there to talk about? Not much, really. Nice way to spend a day. We've got some nice puffy cumulus clouds outside. Talking of weather, shall we see what our arrival weather is doing? Turn those lights off as well, save the bulbs. Those ones. Winner. So let's get down in the data link. Send. Quieter up the front. Realistic? Don't know. Bing bong. Let's check the weather. So, 10:20 Zulu, 170 at 103. Yeah, that is a little bit of wind. Oh, we're overhead DINOV at 3.5. So back to being 4 minutes early with 2120. So on fuel. Yeah, we'll just let the airplane turn itself around nice and smoothly. For those of you that haven't flown with an autopilot in reality, it is very weird when the aeroplane turns itself, often more smoothly than you can. You feel like you're running out of hands. So, weather. 170, so from the south it's 250, so that's 80 degrees off, so that is still a headwind for 25. Bearing in mind that if Heathrow change to 09, then we will have to come in from to the runway that just has a PAR and SRA, because of course the UK military is too poor to afford things like RNAV, and the regulatory environment in the UK for things like RNAV is an absolute, I'll just say, profanity show. Like GA, where is it that's got an RNAV? There's a small airfield in the UK somewhere that has an RNAV approach, and you can only use it one aircraft at a time, nothing in the circuit, you have to book slots. It's just ridiculous, certainly compared to somewhere like the States, where there's more RNAVs than ILS, and why not? It's very silly in my mind. So I'm just don't need to do it yet, but it is set. There we go. So I can just flick it over at the top of the hat. No significant weather. Colour codes here are NATO colour codes for weather: blue, white, a couple of types of yellow, a green, a red. You can look them up. What they don't have, so the UK don't have an instrument rating that aligns with those. Some nations do, which is very smart. So if you've got a red instrument rating, then you can fly down to colour code red, which is eminently sensible, and of course therefore something that we don't do. Echo Delta Delta Whiskey, where's that? I don't know, they've got Hamburg, no, Bremen. They've got approach online. I mean, there's quite a lot of airplanes flying about. These people not at work like me. And then the forecast. So this was issued today at 7:35 Zulu. It's valid today from 9 Zulu until tomorrow at 3 Zulu. The general weather is 160 at 12, so the wind should die down a little bit. 10k, fuel at 4,040 tempo, which means 40% for the period, which is usually, I thought, 2 hours. So half the period. So for half the period, there's a 40% chance of that happening, but for not greater than an hour at a time, it's going to be broken at 1200 with a PRO M2 tempo between midnight and 3 of 6,000 meters in BR, which is mist, scattered at 600, and then high reps. Interesting. Are these real? Interesting. There's my weather brain off. That's about as much as I can manage today. Answers in chat for the definition of KRK. I keep saying it to myself and I keep forgetting. I can look it up, but the more we repeat these things, the more they go into our brains. So here we are over LASIS, and actually we've used a little bit more fuel. It might only be 30 kilos, because the OFP is only to the nearest 100, and it's indicating 2.1. We've got 2020 or 2030 on board, so we might be about 20 kilos short. Of course, that can be absorbed by contingency. We have 5% contingency fuel, which is 6 minutes, 85 kilos. So, not to worry, but it is something to keep an eye on, that level of precision. The headwinds might have been stronger. I might have flown it slightly less efficiently. We've got traffic ahead of us. Quite a long way below. Yes. Well, you can just see them there. Isn't that cool? Good old VATSIM. EFF. I don't know what that call sign is. That's East Midlands. Oh, to Krakow, just where we've been. So no wonder they're coming this way. I forgot to mention at the beginning that it's a Eurocontrol validated route. I always like to do those, just because why not try and make it realistic. But yeah, VATSIM is good, especially now with the contrails. I'm told that they do hit your frames a little bit, especially if, I don't know, they're individual. I mean, they're not fantastic, but they're pretty good. I don't like the way that XPilot injects the sound in. It's good to have the sound, but it's just it's a bit sort of digital and noisy and odd. But not the end of the world. I mean, it's still better to have all the traffic there. So they're doing 458. What are we doing over the ground? Doing 460. So I think they planned at 0.8, which seems a bit quick. I guess that was an A320. Was, yeah. 455 ruse, and we planned 458. So 7980. I don't know the buses particularly well. Don't know if that's quick for them or not. Of course, the other thing that's great about this jet is the autosave, so touch wood, I do hope it doesn't crash, but if you do get a crash to desktop for whatever reason, I think the Challenger is saved every 20 seconds. I think the reason it can do that so reliably compared to a lot of other aircraft in X-Plane is many aircraft in X-Plane rely on interfacing with X-Plane using X-Plane systems, for instance engines, avionics, and then maybe upgrading ones, let's say, that they feel that they need to improve upon. Everything on this jet is modelled in a box outside of X-Plane. Obviously it runs in X-Plane, but independent of X-Plane. So I've probably mentioned this on stream before, but take the GPS for instance. Position that is displaying on the navigation display right now is based on real satellite constellations, based on the IRS and the GPS. And the position of those satellites and the information that has been given to the system beforehand tells the aircraft where it is. The aircraft itself, I think the position is calculated independently, so you can be in a different position based on actuality, and that position is injected into the simulator. So all that X-Plane provides is effectively the visuals and the aeroplane flying around. Did I just get a bit of a stutter there? So yes, it certainly feels like I'm just going to display the frame rate counter there for a minute. Don't know if that's tiles loading up. Oh no, you know what it could be? It could just be the changes in pitch. don't know. A little bit annoying. Could just look like a stutter when the pitch changes. But yeah, the aeroplane is entirely self-contained, and it just injects its position into the simulator to then do the other things with everything else. The flight model, engine model, the engine's output a thrust, which is applied to the aircraft. The flight model is all self-contained. All the systems are correct, so the delay in the fuel sensors are all actually sensing a fuel. So obviously at some point there is a truth in the simulation that says this is how much actual fuel has gone in, but you don't tell that to the aircraft. The aircraft has to then measure that quantity, of which there can be some error. Same on the ground. The aeroplane is in a position, but you are simply telling it, and of course X-Plane can output a GPS position and tell the aircraft systems where it really is, but that's not how they're calculated. They are calculated as the real jet does in reality with GPS INS, which is just an insane level of fidelity and capability from an individual level. Let's see if we can sort this out. There's going to be some delay on these sensors. We've got maybe 100 kilos to pump into the center to then pump back and even out. Yeah, there's always something new. Every flight, yeah. I mean, you know, and all I'm doing is driving it from A to B just because that's what I enjoy. I'm not sure I've really got the setup to try and do anything particularly challenging, or necessarily the time to do things like practicing V1 cuts and single engine ops and all those sort of things that you could, I think, realistically do. You can see we're down to about 990. If I take that off, will it continue? It may well do, because of course there is lag in the sensors. And I think when I got it, I spent maybe about 4 hours before I even started the thing up. I mean, obviously the engine start, the cockpit checks are quite long, but actually the start itself is relatively simple. It's quite a simple aeroplane to start. But when you look at, let's just take, we were talking about GPS, weren't we? So that's the satellites that the aircraft can see in reality, based on our actual position, based on the actual position of the GPS satellites in reality as of this moment in time right now. This is the satellites that the aircraft is seeing. This is what is giving us our position. So we exist as a point in space, which we can measure and work out exactly, because of course we know exactly the maths behind how fast the aeroplane is going, etc. And of course that can be tracked because it's in the simulator. But the aircraft doesn't know that. The aircraft can only measure, and there's error in those sensors. So the INS will drift. It will drift accurately. It will be updated by the GPS. These are the GPS satellites that right now is exactly the same as what you would see in reality. I don't know of any other aircraft on any other sim that behaves this way. When we look at, have a look at the engine. That's the engine running. It's actually simulating a jet engine. It's not just running a table that says at this speed, at this height, at this air density, at this pressure, with this fuel, with this throttle setting, you will get X amount of thrust. Where's the thrust shown on here? Bypass nozzle. I thought that was because you've got the velocity there. Yeah, you've got the pound force thrust, so it's just freedom units. This is actually modelling it. It's modelling the fuel coming in. It's modelling the actual jet engine. And all of this simulating an actual engine just to produce a figure that gives you a thrust output to just tell you how much and how fast you're pushing the aeroplane along. Because of course the maths is complicated, but of course you've got the computational power to do it. Oh, here we go, summary, there we go, that's what I was looking for. I just expected it to be the other side. The net thrust. So, that's what we're getting. And all the maths of everything coming in, just to give us that figure, which you could just have a table, but look at it twitching around, just reality. Way up. Grab it, there we go. Are there any wonderful things? So electrical network. I don't know if you've seen this before, but this is the actual network. If I start pulling circuit breakers, you'll see them pop. If you... what's on the AC bus? All of these things, you can see what's being drawn. So the AOA heater for the tap probe, it will have a current function and it is drawing an amount of power. So an entirely modelled and realistic network. I hope I can get rid of that like this. I can't, can I? Yeah, there we go. That's the level of fidelity. Like I say, I don't know any other sim that has that. I don't know DCS, so that, you know, there could be something similar, but it's not looking likely. ZUCKA 11:06, 8 minutes out, 4 minutes early. Happy. The top of descent is only 49 minutes away. It is almost lunchtime. Am I going to have a late lunch, or am I going to have a lunch in the cruise? I might duck out and have lunch in a moment, so apologies in chat, but feel free to ask any questions if there's anything you want to see, if you haven't purchased it and you want to see anything. I mean, I can only just show you flying, but I can show you some of the study menus, because they are impressive. Flight control computers, all independent, so the computers only talk to each other as they would in reality, and they also use the same protocol. I think it's I want to say 424, 429, just listed here, that they communicate exactly. They know nothing other than what they are told and who they can talk to, and it's all modelled. You can see the air conditioning units. Let's have a look at one of those, because this is actually quite cool. There's the bleed air, there's the ram air coming in, going through the heat exchangers, and that's in where the APU is. You're wrong, pretty sure it all feeds through that duct. Is it at the top? There's an inlet somewhere. But it's the same one the APU uses, so even the air conditioning is accurately modelled as to what is coming out. The cabin has a heat loss based on... there you go, there's the cabin. When the doors open, when it's hotter outside, the doors open, it lets stuff in, and you've got to cool it down. You've got windshield temperatures. Outside air, skin temperature, you've got the insulation, the conduction, and the emission all worked out. Is that based on colour as well? Maybe. Well, I mean, the fact that it's even listed is insane. Forward cabin, aft cabin, the amount of air that you're having to pump in to keep the cabin out at 6,400 feet. You see it constantly, the valve constantly changing, just like it would in reality. Insane. Why is there a difference in emission? Flying in radar, good afternoon. Prefect 99 Challenger 650, flight level 400. ABNO. Correction, ABNED. Flying in radar, good afternoon. Prefect 99 Challenger 650, flight level 400, direct ABNED.
Calling in London, so can you call sir?
It's Victor Golf Lima, Prefect.
Prefect 99 now identified, level 400, hello.
Hello, thank you, Prefect 99. Do I keep track of fuel burn?
088, maintain present heading, descent level 70.
Jason, yes I do. I am writing it down, so when we come up to our next point, I think we might be about 100 kilos under, which is starting to get a little bit tight. So yeah, I am going to try and have lunch. This was an inconvenient bit of ATC. I can try logging onto CPDLC. No, it's not that one. It's not that one either. It is fans.
Lufthansa 088, how do you read?
Descent level 70, Lufthansa 088.
Many thanks.
So yeah, we'll look at the fuel at the next waypoint, whilst I'm also having lunch.
Musketeer 5 for Sierra, wind 220 degrees, 3 knots, runway 25 cleared for takeoff.
Runway 25 cleared for takeoff, no Musketeer 5 for Sierra.
Lufthansa 088, descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1015.
Descent 3000 feet, Lufthansa 088.
088, correct, and please read back the QNH 1015.
QNH 1015, Lufthansa 088.
Lufthansa 477, turn right heading 330, continue descent level 70.
Right heading 330 and descent flight level 70, Lufthansa 477.
My bad there, wandering away to go and get my lunch.
Schönen guten Tag, die Delta Echo Delta Uniform Sierra etwa 2 Minuten südlich vom Kontrollpunkt Echo für Dortmund. Bitte Einflug in die Kontrollzone und Landung.
Delta Echo Delta Uniform Sierra lang, hallo. In Dortmund haben wir aktiv die Piste 24 QNH 1016. Fliegen Sie Kontrollzone über Echo und melden Sie den Gegenanflug.
Aktive Piste 24 und das QNH 1016. Einflug über Echo ist genehmigt und melden Gegenanflug Piste 24, Delta Uniform Sierra.
Lufthansa 088 on present heading cleared ILS runway 23 left.
Cleared ILS runway 23 left, approach Lufthansa 088.
Easy 49 Mike Romeo, monitor Unicom, monitor 8, bye-bye.
Unicom for 49 Mike Romeo.
I think that's the first time that that's actually worked.
Offline, monitor Unicom, monitor 8, bye-bye.
Monitor Unicom, want to do decimate kilometer for Bravo, thanks.
Which is cool. I guess we could use it on the other one, which I will do in just a moment. You can probably hear me clattering about with my lunch in the background. Yeah, that's what it's for, because I'm incompetent. Although I think Royal Air Force used to have, whenever they used to leave something fuel-related open, they would always pop a glove over it because it was so easy to forget. So these human factors issues do exist in reality. There's our message log, you can leave it down there whilst doing whatever else you need to do, which is pretty cool.
Plan to Frankfurt Hahn. Is it possible to divert to Düsseldorf? Lufthansa 14 Charlie, Langrede, good day, sir. Of course that is possible. You are identified level 350. Expect vectors in a minute. Expecting vectors in a minute. Dankeschön, Lufthansa 14 Charlie. Musketeer 540, identified passing 4,000 feet, climb flight level 220, direct lip me. Direct lip me and climb flight level 220, Musketeer 540. Lufthansa 088, contact tower 118, decimal 305, bye-bye.
Lufthansa 088 is going around.
Langham radar, speedbird 976 kilo, with flight level 350. Speedbird 976 kilo, Langrede, good day, sir, identified. And Lufthansa 088, go around is copied, but you are not flying the standard Mr. Approach procedure. Turn now left heading 070, climb altitude 4,000 feet.
Fly heading 070, climb 4,000 feet, Lufthansa 088.
Und Delta Uniform Sierra im Gegenanflug bis zu 4.
Delta Uniform Sierra verstanden, Wind 020 Grad, 4 Knoten, Piste 24 Landung frei.
Piste 24 Landung frei, Delta Uniform Sierra.
Lufthansa 477, descent altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1015. Descend 3,000 feet and QNH 1015, Lufthansa 477. Lufthansa 14 Charlie, turn left heading 100, when ready, descend flight level 240.
Left heading 100, when ready, descend flight level 240, Lufthansa 14 Charlie. Lange Radar, Musketeer 540.
Yeah, I think it was maybe fuel dump or having a probe out or something. I would just dig it and find out.
Heavy turbulence for the other traffic to expect.
Musketeer 540, roger that, and thank you very much. Langham radar, speedbird 976 kilo, request ascent. Speedbird 976 kilo, descent flight level 250 for now. 250, speedbird 976 kilo, thank you.
Musketeer 540, request final cruise level, flight level 190.
Musketeer 54 roger, climb level 190.
Climbing 190, Musketeer 540.
Lufthansa 477, turn right heading 220, correction 210, cleared ILS 23 left.
Right heading 210 and cleared ILS, Lufthansa 477.
Lufthansa 088, you were instructed to climb altitude 4,000 feet. Your indicated altitude is now 5,500 feet. Please descend altitude 4,000 feet.
Descend 4,000 feet, sorry, I have problems with my autopilot. Lufthansa 088.
Answer 74 Whiskey, monitor Unicum 1 128, bye.
1 decimal 8, thanks for your control. Have a nice day, bye-bye, transfer 7 whiskey.
Bye, and with a 906 Victor Zulu, same for you, Unicom 128, bye-bye.
Unicom, bye-bye.
Hang on, radar, speedbird 976 kilo. I know it's out of your zone, but have you got weather for Hanover, EDDV? Speedbird 976 kilo, standby. Lufthansa 477, you overshot the ILS, turn right heading 260 to intercept again, or report field in sight for visual approach.
260 and fuel is 3000. I can do visual approach Lufthansa 477.
Lufthansa 477, in that case, proceed on visual approach runway 23 left, contact tower 118.305.
Visual approach 23 left and contact tower 118.325 Lufthansa 477. Dankeschön, ciao, ciao.
Speedbird 976 kilo, ready to copy?
Speedbird 976 kilo, go ahead.
Speedbird 976 kilo, weather for Hanover, Echo Delta Delta Victor. Med report time 1050 Zulu, wind 080 degrees 5 knots.
Bearing in mind the guy's doing this in a second language. I can barely read a METAR in English.
2.12 and QNH 1016. No significant changes.
0805 variable, thank you, that's pretty much all we needed. Speedbird 976 kilo.
You're welcome. And Speedbird 976 kilo, monitor Unicom 122.8, safe landing in Hanover, bye-bye.
Over to Unicom, thank you once again, sir. 122.8, Speedbird 976 kilo.
Lufthansa 088, turn left heading 300.
I've just turned them down because we've got some descent planning to do. So I think a normal approach into Northolt will take you overhead the field, out to the north, and then a radar pattern in. So that's what I'm going to do, just because we're going to be at overhead land one at flight level 70 and about 18 to 20 miles from, or maybe 20 to 25 miles. But it's going to be a steep descent, so we're not going to be able to make that. So let's double check the weather. It was very nice of the controller to provide that weather as well. Let's request the weather again, just to make sure that what we're looking for is really, we'll get it in the descent, but the plan for the runway, so the arrival's not going to change. So we can step through that. Logan 250, these are planned. ATC clearance will override these if given. Sabre at 16, Weasel 250, Lambo 220 at 70. Those are the only restrictions, and that works out quite well for us. So let's have a rough look at Northolt. It's still 190 and 13, so I think that's come. Did I come round a little bit more? 180 before? I forget. The point being, QNH is still good. 190 with 25 is 60 degrees off, so it's not going to be all crosswind, but mostly. And we're going to have maybe about half the headwind. Just as a rule of thumb, and it doesn't have to be accurate. That's just good enough. A little bit of MDR. Because it's 25. So it's 60 degrees off, so that's coming around, that's coming. It's going to sound better. So it is going to be 25, and I am going to double check with flight radar, just because people get precious on VATSIM otherwise. Now that's interesting. Heathrow is actually on 09. That's a pickle. Interesting. And it looks like there's a little NetJets citation about to leave, and they are going 07. So I guess that's what we're going to do. Great. Hang on, Prefect 99, thanks for the CPDLC message. It's the first time I've been able to get it to work, so appreciate it, and we'll be over to you. Bye for now.
Many thanks for saying goodbye, and yeah, hope to see you soon in our skies. Bye.
Thank you, have a good day, bye-bye. And that's quite good. So I know people want to be on VATSIM to walk. Controllers want to be on VATSIM to control, but actually it makes it really useful to use things like this. So yeah, as the traffic increases, I think we're going to have to use things like this more often, and hopefully libcpdlc will migrate and be better used. The Germans are mad keen on it. Excuse me, just that's a message annoying me. And then I guess I just have to log off. That's quite cool. Right, so actually, what is now, do I have, off the top of my head, can we accept a tailwind? I thought I had the, come on, some of you guys must know. Let's write it down and let's see what the computer gives us. So, the arrival weather, we've still got a bit of time to ABNED. I'll get close, but of course we're going to have a little bit more distance to play with. And then I'll have to figure out what we do for 07, because we can add a couple of waypoints to get us on the final approach. 07. I think I have an idea about what I do to get in there. Whether or not it will keep out of the way of other traffic, I'm not sure, so we'll have to bear that in mind. So, what was the... So 1050 Zulu. It's going to get an update soon. 10 plus, few at 4,200, 1806. So let's have a look at that arrival. We are not going to be 7, so let me load up the chart for 07. It's a PAR or an SRA. So for PAR we get a 4.3 rate in. SRA you get 2 radar fixes, so 0.3. And it's 3 degrees. That's going to give us an intercept point, which is exactly what we want. It's not going to build is missed approach. I'm going to have to do that one manually. So I'm going to have nav1, which is Bovingdon. We end up going holding towards Bovingdon and 1 inbound. So on nav1, I'm going to tune Bovingdon 375. On nav2, which I can't see here, I think I'm going to plan one. Which is 1.6. And those two should come up. So it does make the missed approach a little bit more complicated because it's E-tight. And that is 309 inbound. So not sure where I've mapped my direct to source. You can see we're picking up the DME already. That's fine. Then I think what we get, so that's 07, that's 20 degrees. I think it's a 50-degree turn because I think we need to run in at an angle to 070. So I think 020. So now what we've got is discontinuity level RX07. So I'm going to do another custom waypoint, and we're going to aim for 3 degrees and try and remember how to put it in. So I want a custom waypoint from that, and I think I want maybe another 3 miles. From that I want to go, I said 020, didn't I? A bit tight. Say 320 at 3. That's 4. I'll do 320 at 4. Why does it do that? Because we just put that in. I should be able to do. Sure, I should be able to do it. Or we could probably just take a custom waypoint from Northall and go maybe 8 or 9 miles, because we get radar directed. I would like to have descent. It's going to be down to 1500, that says 1535. 1500 QNH or QFE. Anyway, I mean that is close enough. 4 miles out, no speed, but we're going to sort that out. So maybe if we do uniform, and if we did .09. That's not bad, is it? 5 miles straight in. It's 110. Yeah, converging heading. Maybe a little bit tight, that wasn't a bad guess. So I'm not planning for the visual. What I want is, well, I mean, yes, it will be on a day like today. So it's still not going to be a visual because the way the airspace works at Northall, you're always going to get radar directed to the final approach fix, even for a visual. So what I want is to just put in some rough guidance so that we can at least manage our way and effectively create our own approach to it. Of course, you wouldn't fly this in reality. You'd still need the radar. We'll say that we've got PAR. And that would get us down to 484 feet, which would be 490. So we can pop those in. It is cav okay, so we're not going to need it. 490. I guess it's 370 above the ground, which is interesting. That is, let me have a look, so 30 miles. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. It might be a little bit of a tight turn. But you know what? Something is better than nothing. You know what? Let's go north from that point. Something like that. Just to maybe diverge us away from the Heathrow arrivals. That message should go away. So, what is going on with our fuel? Have we just used a little bit too much? Yeah, it's not the easiest, and I mean you're not going to fly it downwind either. Certainly I think for noise 07 arrivals, they get vectored all over the place, and you can get vectored to that 4-mile final, and it's cool. But of course it is that bit more challenging for us. So, fuel to alternate 840. We're bang on, so we have started to use our contingency. So you can see by me rounding up the reserve, that has got me to check that before it's become a problem. And we should be alright. We've got 40 miles to top of descent. So, there's nobody. Solent approach is online. There is nothing for Heathrow. So, let's position ourselves. Although, you know what? I wonder if people online are actually flying into Heathrow on the easterlies. Yes, they are. So, we'll do that. And we shouldn't get in anyone's way. FAF. Looking at there, so gross weight 13.8, so we can do our landing performance. And what I'll do is I'll change. Change up. I'm going to change that now. I know that we're starting to use it. I'm going to change that back to 10. Still not great though, is it? Okay. Fine, because it was 500. So we've still got a little bit to play with, but not much. However, as a weather alternate, we're not going to need Manchester. If we have any issues at Norfolk, we can get to Heathrow, London City. We can go around to Benson. We have ample options from a runway perspective. Cool. So, what are we looking at for the arrival? Let's just get the chart back up. I find Navigraph charts, or Navigraph, yeah, Navigraph, I find it a little bit less intuitive than it used to be. So, I'm going to clear us for the descent with the initial constraint 250. We're going to follow these expected descents because we have no one to clear us. We've got 5 minutes to go, so I'm happy to start bringing the speed back now, and I'm going on VNAV. So those initial checks are done. We have a rough idea of where we're going. Lambourne outwards, I think into Heathrow, is pretty much due west. So when we look at Lambourne 263, I mean that wasn't a bad guess, was it? And we will follow. Yeah, and you can see they're not 3 degrees, so I think that helps people bring the speed back as well, which is why these approaches, procedure designers are not idiots. They do kind of know what they're doing. And it's ATC that usually scuppers you. I'm going to pop above and below on just because we will be able to see a bit more because we're online, a bit more traffic shown. And then we were looking at Perth, so let's get the weather. Starts to get very busy, single person. Get thrown a curveball, something like being able to fly an ILS, which is obviously nice and easy.
Descent checklist. Shoulder harness.
So like an idiot with the headset off there, I've been talking to myself. Just saying that that's landing field length, not landing field distance, so it does have a little bit of leeway when it comes to factor performance. So it does allow for a bit of ball technique and gives you a margin which, especially flying in reality, you should always take. If we're a bit fast, if we don't quite touch down, it gives us a little bit of a margin to play with, but it's still getting a little bit tight with the tailwind. So here we are approaching Logan. Make the constraints. We've changed over, we're in speed. You can of course put VNAV on if you want. It should be 7.8. But I think for the descent it's looking 7.8300. Which starts to get a little bit quick. So I'm happy as it is. Transition level today, so it's 1010. The transition altitude is 6,000 in the London TMA, so it's going to be 7.5. EPA of 3 is fine. And of course we've got restrictions that are restricting that further. Looks like somebody else is descending with us, so let's get some beans on. They're descending, we're descending. Probably going to the same spot. I'm fitting behind them. I think we'll end up going over the top. You can see them just over here. Obviously converging. I have no idea what sort of speed they're doing, which makes it a little bit of a problem. So if we I still think we're just going to end up catching them, and if we do, I think they're going to be slower than this, and we can nip over the top by going straight over the top at 250. So if I hold it at 250, we're able to nip over the top and then flight level change. So, what was the check? Shoulder harness.
Passenger sides.
Let's pop those on. 1,000 to go. Click there. Hopefully nothing important. Still got turbulence mode on because, you know, explain. Is that a spec on my monitor? Yes it is. Where's that traffic gone? So, they should descend. We are clearly going to go over top. Why are they climbing? I mean, I'm assuming they're going into Heathrow just because of where we are. Can't actually see them. There they are. So they're descending. Are we going to be able to sneak over the top? Or is this a futile exercise? We can still probably make land. do want, just to be a little bit quicker, I mean, this is cheeky. The only reason I'm not slowing down is I have no idea what speed they're going to be doing.
Pressurization.
So checked cabin altitude set, nothing's really changed.
Fuel quantity and balance.
You sorted that out?
FMS, landing data, charts.
Done.
Approach briefing.
So we've discussed we're going to self-vector for effectively the same point for an SRA and then visual approach to 07. We try and avoid this traffic who, yeah, we're going to struggle with speed now, so let's start coming back. Dirty dive all the way down. So V out hold, and I'm going to set 70.
VNAV transition to flight levels.
We did.
Descent checklist complete. In range checklist next.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's keep coming back. I guess they were pretty quick. Kelvin airplane. Down we go. What do we need? Loads. So we're not even going to make it. Are we going to make it to Lambourne? Maybe not. So why don't we go for a bit? Oh, I've gone the wrong way. The holds are to the left. Never mind. It's only VATSIM. I'm not even sure calling up on the radio helps because I have no idea anyway, so. Now the airplane should stay in that turn because it's established. And we were looking at 263 inbound, so we'll go to 3 to intercept. It's via the UK. Lovely cloud day. See why I was probably supposed to hold the other side when you've got departures coming out this way. Very intricate airspace in the southeast of England. So we are intercepting inbound Brasso. .800 feet a minute, we're coming back on profile. VNAV's just come alive. What I'm not going to do is let VNAV take over the speed, just because I'm happy at 220. We can run into Lamborn. And there we are on the heading. Well, I don't. Once that comes alive, I'm going to select nav because I have a feeling it will turn to the left to intercept, and I'm happy with the intercept angle that we've got at the moment. The traffic's got a bit further away. Thanks very much, Speedbird, whoever. Often in this jet, because you're going so much faster than everyone else, you can nip ahead. And of course you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If I'd slowed down and then they'd been doing 250 for some reason, just randomly following autopilot, then you'd be scuppered as well, so no matter. So still off scale. Correcting, south end's down there if we need to divert sharpish. And we'll let VNAV do its thing, and it might all go a bit wrong. I'm going to try not to intervene and see if that approach that I've built was any good. So we're going down, along, and effectively doing a left-hand turn to intercept. Sort of as we'd expect to get vectors, and it was almost a 3-degree path, so probably similar to what you'd get. VNAV is alive, arms captured. LNAV, flight level change. It's a little bit of a sluggish intercept. I suppose I have got turbulence mode on. Well, I suppose not too bad. I take it back. It felt a bit sluggish, but actually it's intercepted quite nicely. Me of little faith. So Brasso, and we've actually got 20 miles to go to Lamborn. So the reason I got the speed down was to try and get the out down as well. I think we're still going to be high on profile for the moment. I am happy to leave it. See if it recovers by itself. 220 outbound seems reasonable. We can slow down downwind. And think about getting some flap out. Oh gosh, that's all I need. 129. And what you'll notice, I think I changed the ping to make it less horrific, which I think was something Tom did.
Already inbound for the projects.
Live by the bell. Great, what is that? Cool. London, good afternoon. Prefect 99, Challenger 650. Currently passing flight level 144, descending flight level 70. Logan 2 Hotel, inbound Northob.
Standby 1 easy, 51 Foxtrot, whiskey to right 330 degrees, descend to 2,500 feet. 330 and descend to 500 Fox whiskey. Prefect 99, LO score 5663, expect the RNS approach here at 7.
Score 5663, we're expecting 07, Prefect 99.
Landing, g'day, Speedbird 901, Golf Tango, Logan 2 Hotel, arrival
That's
for
him.
Heathrow. Spirit 9 Golf Tango, hello, continue on that heading and maintain flight level 80, speed 250 knots. Current heading, speed 250.
Got the hold in.
Flight level 80.
Let's hold.
901 Golf Tango. Correct.
What was button for hold? I've been
Good
dead.
afternoon, Channel 2 Lima, flight level 30. Channel 2 Lima, hello, L+1 Mike, arrival, stand by scorecode. Stand by scorecode and L+1 Lima arrival, was that for Channel 2 Lima? Correct, easy, 5 Bob Foxtrot, whiskey to left 280 degrees, clear let's approach 26 left.
So it's going to be 083 left. I'm going to say it's 1.5.
Arrival, squawk.
No distance on it.
4457, descend flight level 110.
In range checklist. AP.
112, hello, Logan 2 on arrival for 9 left, descend flight level 80.
Altimeters.
So I am going to swap those over because it's quite low.
Avionics. External lights.
All on the lights. Just decide it doesn't matter.
Anyone target.
Yeah, flight 2 is a little bit of gear, just hold position.
Set.
Easy 51 Foxtrot Whiskey, continue approach 1 to depart. Check.
Oh no.
Speedbed 91 Golf Tango, score 7116, descent 4000, QNH 1011.
263 left.
Squawk 7116, descent 4000, QNH 1011, 91 Golf Tango. London Center, hello, Easy 6 here, holding point Mike 1, runway 26 left Manchester, get fixed. Easy 6, roger, number 2 for departure. Number 2 for departure, Easy 6, thank you. Easy 51 Foxtrot Whiskey, clear to land, 26 left, the surface winds 160 degrees, 11 knots. 26 left, clear to land, Easy 51 Foxtrot Whiskey. Control, afternoon run at 296 through flight level 286, bad pep.
Yeah, great timing. Thanks, VATSIM.
Flight level 370, stand by scorecode. FM, flight level 370, 296. London, hello, speedboat 27 November Victor, airborne at 4,000 feet, inbound,
Right.
Speedbird 27 November Victor, hello, turn left 010 degrees, climb now, flight level 190. Turn left 010 degrees, climb to 190. Speedboat 27 November Victor. London Control Hills, we're 378, phone over to 180. Speedbird 373 uniform, hello to you, landing runway 09 left, descent flight level 80. 09 left, descent level 80, Speedbird 370 uniform, thanks. Speedbird 990, descent 4,000 feet, northbound QNH 1010.
Descent altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1010, 399.
Thank you, just keep on the present heading for now.
Present heading, prefix 99.
Work control, good afternoon, short 6 Yankee 320 Neo 503 Heathrow 108, this is QNH 1001, correction 1011, Greenwich Glasgow. Bears on a PDC, all stations at Heathrow, just stand by 1, just catching up, and study PDC within the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Checked and clear.
In range checklist complete. Before landing checklist next.
Speedbird 91 Golf Tango, descent to altitude 3,000 feet. Descent 3,000 feet, 901 Golf Tango. Speedbird 112, continue on present heading. Present heading to myself. Next 2 Lima, requesting beginning of descent. You can descent flight 200, continue on Unicom now, 1228, bye bye. 122.8 and descend down 200, Next 2 Lima. Jet 852, line up on way to 26 left, contact tower on 124.230. Jet 852, London. Navigator, all stations currently at the holding point at Gatwick for 26 left, please contact tower on 124.230. Looking for unit 6028 about 300. Boolean 6028 London, hello to you, Buses 1 Golf arrival. Buses 1 6028.
1
London Control, good morning, Rainer 1 Tango, going to be 2,200 for flight level.
Rainer 1 Tango, hello, climb and maintain 6,000.
Climb maintain 6,000, Rainer 1 Tango.
Speedbird 91 Golf Tango, turn left, heading 180 degrees, base leg. Left heading 180, base 91 Golf Tango. Runner 2, Speedbird 27 November Victor, climb file 340. Climb to 340, Speedbird 27 November Victor. Yeah, all stations on the ground at Heathrow, standby, PDCs are coming through now.
So actually let's try and get the aeroplane down. Done the PAX transition, yes.
Spirit 58, hello to you, Roxa 1 Hotel for 9 left, set, sorry, descent flight up 80 level by Occup.
Back 9 left, descent flight level 80, Occup 58.
Sometimes good day, Speedbird 362, yeah, stand 56, ready for push at the end. Speedbird 326 Yankee, hello to you, push and start as approved base in south, score 7576.
Sim's not looking too bad. 5 frames a second.
Face same score 7576, 362 Yankee. Control, ready for descent. Ability 6028, route at Holly, descent flight level 110. 110, direct 24, release 08. London, hello again, Tom Jet 852, 1200 for 5. Tom Jet 852, hello mate, I did try to contact you, but I think Tower nabbed you, climb that file 110. Climb file level 110, 852.
There's the airport.
Speedbird 91 Golf Tango, left turn 110 degrees, cleared ILS 9 left.
Stuff popping in and out. Less than ideal.
0, cleared ILS 9 left, 91 Golf Tango.
That's not too bad.
November Victor, resume navigation, direct Potton. Direct Potton, Speedbird 27 November Victor. Speedbird 37 uniform, turn left 270 degrees, vector in for 9 left. Left heading 270 degrees, and between 9 left, Speedbird 37 uniform. Runway 18 Tango, climb now, follow 190.
190, Rainer 1 Tango.
Easy 28 Juliet X-ray, continue on present heading, descent flight level 80 and score 4467. Sorry, can you say again please, Easy 28 Juliet? Yeah, continue on present heading now, descent flight level 80, score 4457, action 4467. Present heading 80 and 4467, Easy 28 Juliet.
Sorry, good afternoon, Speedbird 493, uniform flight 360.
Speedbird 493 uniform, hello to you. Roxa 1 Hotel arrival for 9 left, score 7256, descent flight level 130.
Roxa 1 Hotel arrival for the hour 09 left, score 7216, descent flight level 310, Speedbird 493 uniform.
Speedbird 91
Up yours?
Tango, clear to land line left, the wind 170 degrees, 11 knots.
Clear to land, 9 left, 91 Golf Tango.
Top Jet 852, climb file 350.
Climb flight level 350, Tom Jet 852.
Speedbird 58, descent flight level 80.
We're descending to 80 now, Speedbird 58.
Easy 28 Juliet X-ray, contact Solent radar 120230, bye bye.
120230, good luck.
London, hello, Ryder 7 Delta Victor, flight level 100.
Ryder 7 Delta Victor, hello, continue on present heading, climb now, flight level 180.
Continue present heading, climb flight level 180, Ryder 7 Delta Victor.
Prefect 99, descent to altitude 3,000 feet.
Descent altitude 3,000 feet, prefect 99.
Speedbird 37 uniform, descent to altitude 5,000, QNH 1011.
5,000 feet, QNH 1011, Speedbird 37 uniform.
Speedbird 58, fly heading 350 degrees.
Fly heading 350 degrees, Speedbird 58.
Sprino 18 Tango, direct to Edinburgh, climb file 360.
Direct to, I'm sorry, Sam, could you repeat that waypoint and flight level is
Is Edinburgh, Echo Mike, Bravo, Oscar Romeo.
Roger, the Permitted Winner Team.
Speedbird 360, okay, we are ready for the taxi.
It's denim. Denim's around here somewhere. Oh, we must have just gone straight over the top. Yep, there we go.
Speedbird 84 Delta Mike, A325 and 1 start approach. Speedbird 84 Delta Mike, to the company, A320 passes right to left, approved base south. The A320 is clear, push approved base south, Speedbird 84 Delta Mike.
There's the M25 and 40.
Elbos 1 Mike arrival, route direct to Elbos.
Elbos 1 Mike arrival, direct to Elbos, right,
Speedbird 27 November Victor, nothing further north, continue on Unicom 1228, bye bye. Back to Unicom, November Victor, thanks for the service, bye bye. Cheers. Prefect 99, descend to 2000.
Descend altitude 2000 feet, prefect 99.
Controller 075 Mike on the MSO 1 Hotel Bit Alpha. 075 Mike, hello, landed 9 left, no delay, descend flight level 130 and squawk 4707. Landing 09 left, descend 130, squawk 4707, Mike. Runway 18 Tango, climb file 360.
Bunch of those climbing down level, remaining way.
Okay, it's shaking about all over the place.
5,000 feet, KRK-NHT is 1011. 5,000 feet, there we go, QA.
2500.
Prefect 99, left turn 180 degrees.
Left turn 180, prefect 99.
Speedbird 112, descend 5,000, QNH 1011. 5,000, QNH 1011. Speedbird 7, Speedbird 37 uniform, descend to altitude 4,000 feet. Descend 4,000 feet, Speedbird 37 uniform.
So, will we get the VNAV window back? Because that's what I really want. Is that guidance? There it is.
Prefect 99, descend, turn left 110 degrees, you're clear for the ILS approach runway 07.
Left 110, clear for the, it'll be a visual prefect 9907.
Oh yes, so it will be. It's the little wiggle, I always forget about the little wiggle on 07, I do apologize.
That's alright, I'll keep clear, prefect 99.
Yeah, it's not around you.
Sweet.
Prefect 99, you clear to land, the wind is 192 degrees, 11 knots.
Clear to land at 07 north on prefect 99. There you go, gives us a bit of guidance.
180 knots, Beaver 58. Control, good day, Chile, Fentai 321 with you, holding 09.
Worked out okay.
Fentai 321, hello, I have no flight plan for you, we can check a route file. Speedbird 493 uniform, squawk 7256, descend flight level 130.
Get the airplane flying that.
256, descend flight 130, Speedbird 493 uniform. Good afternoon, 1311, flight level 230, about we're ready for descent.
Good guidance, 1500, the missed approach is straight ahead until 2024, 129 inbound. No, 309 inbound.
Speedbird 37 uniform, right turn 330 degrees, descend to altitude 3,000 feet. 330 degrees to the right and 3,000 feet, Speedbird 37 uniform. Speedbird 112, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, speed 180 knots.
Down indicated. No steer. Arm center clear.
Speedbird 58, descend to altitude 3,000 feet. 3,000 feet, Speedbird 58.
Hard tested. Passenger silence. On. Wing.
Just confirm you're logged on a Delta Hotel Lima 8331. Roger.
On. Thrust reversers. Armed. Spoilers. Stowed auto.
Speedbird 8, Speedbird 326, check your report parking altitude, climb now, flight level 170.
Checked.
Before landing, checklist complete. After landing, checklist next.
360, okay. Landing good. Speedbird 940, stand 52, Heathrow.
That guidance definitely helps.
Stand by BDC. Thanks. Alright, Speedbird 58, turn right 060 degrees, you're clear for the islands approach 9 left, number 2. Alright, 060, clear for the islands approach 9 left, Speedbird 58. Speedbird 37 uniform, turn right 070 degrees, descend 2,000 feet, further
Seems looking pretty good. 35 frames a second even in London. Pretty good in my book.
It's a right turn.
Those trees on the approach might be interesting. Yeah, it really is. It's the same in reality, Jason. I use the Garmin for a little bit of additional guidance on a long final as well. In reality, if you've got the tools, use them. Feels pretty twitchy.
Speedbird 75 Mike, route direct to Ockham, Oscar Charlie Kilo. Direct Ockham, Spirit 75 Mike.
Approaching minimums.
Speedbird 84 Delta Mike, recasting. 84 Delta Mike, taxi, shut ahead, hold November Bravo 10.
Minimum.
Continue.
Hold November Bravo 10, should be 84 Delta Mike.
Maybe a little bit high from the trees.
See if you just score correctly and then I'll get you anyway. Roger, defend 832 and so about that once again.
Those trees feel rather close. I don't think they're as tall in reality. The road is.
Skies 91, check your PDCs, I'll send you one, but in fact I'll give you clearance in a second. Brake breaker, GN 580, hello, climb level 2.
A bit of a flow.
Remaining. 900 remaining.
Right now, 18 Tango, nothing further north, continue now on Unicom 1228, bye-bye. Bye-bye, it's Speedbird 37 uniform, clear to land 9 left, the wind 170 degrees, 13 knots.
That's alright. It happened a bit quick.
Speedbird 75, Mike, descent flight level 80.
Even with a little bit of a float.
Speedbird 75, Mike, descent flight level 80. 80, 75, Mike. Speedbird 112, turn left, heading 190 degrees and descend to altitude.
It's 1216 with 1,000 kilos.
Channel 13 Lima, fly heading 165. Heading 165, people on clear. Easy 6, request fly level increase speed. Easy 6, turn right 050 degrees. And climb flight level 160. Yeah, 050, climb flight 160. 160, level 160.
After landing checklist.
Landing calls 3
lights. Off. Anti-collision lights. Off. Continuous ignition. Off. Windshield heat.
Speed 58, no speed restriction.
Close. Off.
Speed 58, no
Wet
speed restriction.
Off. Cal anti-ice.
Levanto 8321, clear takeoff, line right, wind 170 degrees, 13 knots.
Spoilers.
Clear takeoff, line right, fully Levanto 8321. Speed 84 down to my behind,
Zero.
pilot left hand, so line up, line right behind.
Radar mode. Stand by.
Skyways 91, ready
After
for
landing
clearance.
checklist complete. Engine shutdown checklist next.
So I think 5's the VIP.
4,000 feet, London 2 DME, turn right, heading
So we'll head out over this way. Maybe stay at 9-4.
Cleared to Dallas, 09 right, after takeoff, turn right, heading
Oh, I'm on the wrong line.
and squawk 2, 034, Skies 091. Speedbird 112 left, turn 110 degrees, clear Dallas 9 left.
So just turn the taxi light off.
Skyways 901, read that correct.
6 Lima Golf, AP20 was down at 516 with PDC, ready to push it up.
2 stations, both Speedbirds. 86 Lima Golf, what's your message?
AP20 stand 516, ready to push
Thanks, Andy. Glad you enjoyed it. I mean, it's a relatively long flight for me. I don't like them that long, to be honest.
Clear to push start facing south, Speedbird 86 Lima Golf, no worries.
Station asking for clearance, the other Speedbird, what's your call sign, please?
Let's see if we can stop here on the line.
PDC set. Shuttle 13
I think the wheels are
Lima,
about there.
it's going to keep you on that heading straight in on the base leg for now for
It's
9 left.
12:19.
Descend, flight level 90.
Engine shutdown checklist. Taxi lights.
Speedbird 93.
Parking brake.
Uniform turn left 360 degrees, descend flight level 80.
Generators 1 and 2.
Speedbird 493, uniform turn left
Off.
360 degrees.
Engine 2 shut down.
Left 360 degrees, descend flight level 80. Speedbird 493.
Fuel boost pumps.
Speedbird 32, yep, 3
So
Fuel
rights off.
system.
We're looking for right low.
engine 1 shut down. Check ITT below 350 degrees Celsius.
Checked.
Anti-ice, off. 14th stage,
Got 2 stations supply, so near PDC, who's the
off.
other station?
Beacon, off.
That's approved.
No steer, off. ATC TCAS,
Speedbird 78 Mike, continue on present heading, descend to 5000, KRK-NHT 1010. Speedbird 493 uniform, descend
parking
to
brake if
altitude
chopped.
5000 feet,
Just
QNH
wait for those
1010.
chocks.
passenger signs,
6028, fly heading 040 degrees.
off. Cabin differential,
Hot start flight support.
0
Jenny
PSI.
speaking.
Engine
How can I
shutdown
help?
checklist complete.
Let's have
Secure
a
checklist next.
van, please.
Of course. I'll have that over with you in a minute or two. Anything else?
Nope, all good, thanks.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Speedbird 58, clear to land 9 left. Speedbird 36 uniform, right turn on Alpha, hold snap up.
Thanks, Jace. I
Speedbird 112, no ATC speed restriction.
don't aim to achieve anything, but as long as you enjoy it, hopefully find something
Plan for 8321, climb
different.
Alpha, hold 290.
Good. Oh, that's not bad. Almost on the line.
Shuttle 13 Lima, descend to altitude 6000, QNH 1010.
Frame rate here, 40 FPS. Pretty good for London. Objects are all pretty high. Looks quite good. As does the jet. It's a little bit stuttery.
Griffin 2776, hello, climb Alpha, level 180.
This is probably going to get left outside rather than in a hangar, so I love how the flag gets called. And waiting for the van.
Tango Whiskey, hello to you. Fly heading 270 degrees, climb Alpha level 160.
How did that look? Oh, apart from that little kink at the end, it was pretty good. I think he was vectoring us for maybe a 3-mile final. So when we got given the 110, probably should have just gone straight there to smooth it out.
Our ride is here. Thank you, Captain. Always such a pleasure flying with you.
You're welcome. See
Have
ya.
a nice rest of your day.
You too.
Left to 90 degrees to drive 493.
There is the van. A little bit of hit to the FPS, not as bad as it used to be.
Spirit 58, taxi Alpha Charlie, stand 547.
It's just chaos when you're London dealing with Heathrow.
Spirit 75 Mike, right
Can't just like figure it all out on the ground.
Disregard brakes, Spirit 112, clear to land 9 left, associates 170 degrees 13 knots.
Again, approach should be handing that off to Unicom for tower and then ground. Just unworkable, but hopefully the trial in the States on VATSIM will help with that. I thought it would be good. Cars going past.
Secure and checklist. Emergency lights.
Off.
AC/DC utility switch.
Is off. And I think we need 3 minutes.
Headsets. Thrust reversers.
Fly 734, need to give you a change. It's going to be 09 for departure. My
Done.
apologies, stand by for a reclearance and you push.
Chocks.
They're in.
Parking brake.
It is off.
Hydraulic pumps.
They can go off too.
Nav lights, logo light.
Gotta keep those on.
APU generator.
Turn that off after about 3 minutes. That's just a little. Everything turn themselves off properly.
APU start stop.
So we'll come back to those. Battery master, cockpit refuel panel, service, pins, covers.
Turn 070 degrees, cleared RLS approach 9 left, number 3.
So 790, that'll change a little bit.
070 degrees, clear the ILS 09 left, speed up front end.
Beeper 940. 940, first right on Yankee, hold November Bravo 11. First right on Yankee, hold November Bravo 11. Here's 112, it's going to be Alpha Charlie, stand 545. Beeper 105, Mike, right turn, heading 070 degrees, you're clear for the ILS approach 9 left, number 1. 5070, clear, engine operational, Speedbird 84 Delta Mike, fly heading 270 degrees. Heading 270, 84 Delta Mike. Brian is 59 Tango Whiskey, resume own navigation now, direct to offshore.
And of course, we've got a bit of time to kill with having to wait to replenish the engine oil anyway. Traffic situation looking like you can just tell how insanely busy it gets.
6028, turn left 340 degrees, you said to 3,000 feet.
That busy.
6 Yankee, to start the creep round on Alpha, there's one just pushing out.
You can see why I like being out here where nobody needs to talk.
At GN 550, contact London 127 105. Speedbird 75 Mike, you clear to land, 09 left, the wind 170 degrees, 13 knots.
So, shut down, we're going to do APU Gen, start, packs, LCV. I've actually printed.
Berlin 6028, left turn 290 degrees, you're clear for the ILS approach 26 left. 4659, climb flight 190.
So there's 3 minutes. So we'll take.
Yeah, climb flight of 190.
Got a puncher off, APU Gen off. You. Axe off. CV next stage. Double check that they are out. Yes, they are. Lovely animation too. 10th stage isolation. And then as the APU spins down, power fuel. There is 0, EGTs still registering. Yeah, everything's going off.
Skyways 901, push and start approved face out.
Push and start face out, Skyways 901.
Speedbird 326 Yankee, Paris is offline, continue on Unicom 1228, bye bye.
128, 363 Yankee, bye bye.
Cheers. Easy 4659, I report you're heading to London Control 127.105.
That's Gary Thomas on London South. Sterling job. What is nice is you can see traffic coming in, traffic going over the top. Especially at night, makes it look nice and busy. Right, it's connected from VATSIM. The land to say touchdown of 120 feet a minute. Definitely sure less than that. Hours 5 minute flight time. And look at the APU time in a moment. 12:16 was the time on. Now time off. 10. Now 6 minutes. Have a look at the APU time. So shut down at 12:19. Need to give it 15 minutes before we check the oil we've had is to go. Here is tidied up. Simulating the wall. Oh no, I do need the gauge here. So the APU looks like 55, I think. To say, I don't think I've broken the APU, other people have. In this bit, but we'll do the oil in a minute. It definitely won't work. It might not actually get any. So we didn't add any last time. Time before we added 0.4 to each side. So having flown another 3 hours 10 minutes flight time. That's the on and off times, not the out and in times, which might be better perhaps. I've got 47, 48 frames. Good. The compartment here modelled. Same with the baggage. Bigs to the realism. So just waiting for a couple of minutes. I think I probably need to update North. Didn't want to do that. It's okay, we can go back outside. It's not a bad rendition. It needs some more work. I think it could be tweaked and made better, but I think it's certainly better than it was. I just haven't had the time, and the scenery gateway is incredibly frustrating. But it is certainly a fun airport to fly into. It's quite short, as you could see. You obviously didn't need all of the runway, but that little float really did mean. And the trees on the approach, which they don't like having exclusions. There is foliage there, but the trees are maybe half the height of that in reality. If you ever go down the A40, you'll see the shrubbery. The runway approach lights are a bit blocked by it, I think. Shrubbery is certainly lower than those trees. So, yeah. This is quite a nice livery, I think. Maybe the text would be a bit better in black with dark blue, or black with the light blue. Play around with that. I think in reality it wouldn't cover up that bit. So, I don't know who made it, but it's really good. I don't know if it's modelled. I'd certainly have it if it bit me. Right, let's check the oil. So we can only do it using this. This seems to confuse people. It be the first time until I realised that this is simply an oil tank, and what we're doing is turning on. Wait 15 minutes until after shutdown. Can fill this up as much as we like. It's just a reservoir. Pump oil out. Doing it in quarts. I'm going to fill that up to 4, and then we pump oil out, and we'll know how much has gone in by simple subtraction. You can pop this out as well. I think somebody was having trouble on the Discord. It's a little bit more. Anyway, push to test. and they extinguish, which means we need some fuel. So let's go to the left engine, starting at just over full. Pumping oil into the engine, and that has stopped at 5, indicating left hand full, go to the right. There as well. 3. It's close enough. And that is that. It's as simple as that. Have to do it after every flight. So now we can take the APU battery off. If you're staying for a few days, the chally will go, batteries will go flat if you leave them connected and don't go flying for a couple of weeks. So it's nice that this was visually added. There was nothing here before, and this was all added, which is pretty cool. And then that gets shut. I think it gets killed in the background as well. So that's the jet secure, oil topped up. Put the air to bed. Till another day. There we go. Magnificent thing. I always thought it looked a bit stubby, but the shape has grown on me. I didn't think it looked as elegant as some others, but it is chunky. A lot of space inside, and I don't mind chunky. So there we go. Done. Thanks very much for watching, friends. Hope you enjoyed it. I know there wasn't a huge amount of chat, but thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm glad the stream worked. Sorry if the audio was a bit quiet. Very difficult to get the levels right. You can't hear it yourself. So, till next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.